Hey, welcome back everybody. Yes, here it is. This is the actual guitar I was building not too long ago. In my previous videos, you saw me working on the Olympic White Telecaster and it's finally done. I promised you guys I'd be able to show you the final product and here it is. I just want to take a couple of minutes. I don't want to make this an extremely long video, but you know how I get when I start talking. I'll try and make it quick, but basically I just wanted to take a quick rundown of the challenges of building the guitar and you know why I think it turned out great. I really like I was after an Olympic White Telecaster for a long time. There was classic series Telecasters that were out from Fender. I was trying to find one used, but they don't pop up that regularly in my neck of the woods, and I didn't really want to spend another $1,000 or $1,400 on a build on a sorry, off-the-shelf model. So I decided to build my own, but I decided to go with Fender parts. So the body is completely stock Fender. Let me explain. I decided to go with Fender parts where I thought it counted. So the body, I decided to go with Fender, and I have to admit the Fender body was extremely well rooted. The cavities were carved so well, I thought it was a laminate. I mean, the edges of the carves were like impeccable. There was not one chip. The neck pocket was flawless. There was no chips like you normally get in a neck pocket area. The paint was perfect. It even had Fender engraved, so I knew it was original. The box, the guarantee, everything. I really wanted to get something good there, and the color is really what I was after. It's beautiful. I love the color tremendously. Now the neck was, for those of you who tuned into my other videos, you know the neck was a little bit of a drama. I got the neck off eBay through a seller called the Stratosphere, which I'm boycotting, and I would highly recommend everyone else boycott, simply because I purchased a neck and I got something completely different. The neck I purchased was supposed to be vintage tinted like this one, and it wasn't. The truss rod was different. Anyways, I believe they did the old bait and switch. When I complained, they said that the original was not available for some reason. I guess it just disappeared, but they weren't gonna send it to me, and basically I was stuck with it. So I made the best of it, but I am boycotting that seller. I would highly recommend you guys do the same. Since then, a lot of people have shown their support and claimed that they've had issues with them as well. So I'm definitely not going to spread good words about them. On the other hand, you know, if you want to deal with them, take your chances. But for me, there's a lot of other reliable, honest eBay sellers where you can get super quality necks and probably cheaper. So that's enough said about that. In any case, I got the neck and I had to tint it. So I took the opportunity to tint it with a really vintage color, and it was a lacquer. And one thing I have to say about that is if you're tinting a neck with lacquer, be prepared for it to be sticky for a while. A lot of people are surprised to learn that lacquer stays sticky. It takes a little bit more time to gas out, and basically gas out means the gases and the curing process take a little bit more time, and until it's completely done and completely cured, it tends to be a little bit sticky. So if you don't like a sticky neck, I would say go with polyurethane. If you're patient and you want to get something a little bit more vintage, go with lacquer. It wasn't hard to do. The process was documented in my other videos. If you are interested in seeing how to do that, just check out my other videos. Now I put on a Fender water slide decal. A lot of you guys are going to give me shit because I did that, but it just looked odd without anything on it, and I had one lying around. I didn't feel like making my own, because if I would make my own, I would have to lacquer on top of it, and it's another process. So I just decided to use what I already had. The tuning pegs are locking pegs, and I like the locking pegs primarily because they make it easy for me to remove the strings when I'm servicing the neck or changing the neck, or you know, just polishing the frets or oiling down the fretboard. I can take the strings that are already on there and put them right back in, and I don't have any curly strings to deal with, so it makes it extremely easy to work with. I also like the fact that the truss rod adjustment is on the top and not the bottom. I was originally considering getting a neck with the truss rod adjustment on the bottom to make it more vintage, but to be honest with you, it's a pain in the ass whenever you have to adjust the neck radius, not radius, but relief. You got to take off the neck, and it's a real pain to deal with that. And I prefer to have it up here. It's a lot easier to deal with, you know, adjusting it from here. The nut is a bone nut. I cut the nut slots myself, and I just radiused the nut as well to make it exactly what I need it to be. There's the skunk stripe in the back of the neck. So the neck is rosewood. The frets are medium frets. The relief on the neck is a 10. It's not extremely vintage, like I didn't go with a 9 or something like that, because I already have some guitars that have more of a curve to the neck fretboard. I wanted to go with something a little bit flatter, so I went with 10s, which work really well. Of course, the pickguard is the mint green pickguard, and I had two versions. I had a light mint green and a darker mint green. Ultimately, I thought the darker mint green gave me more contrast with the Olympic white and looked better, so I went with that one. So if anybody needs a light mint green pickguard, I have one for sale. I recycled the pickups from a set that I had bought from Tone Rider, and it was a vintage set that I used on a previous guitar, and for some reason it didn't really work well with the previous guitar, maybe because of the wood that I was using for the body, but I find it works a lot better on this one, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. So I'm going to probably keep those in there and save myself the money. If ever I decide to try something else, well, at that point we'll decide which ones win and stay in the guitar. But for now, they work quite well. They can give me that spanky tone that I like, and if it's pushed with an overdrive pedal, I can get some decent dirt out of it as well. For the bridge, I'm going to just get a little closer so you can see that. The bridge basically is a Telecaster type bridge, except the edges have been removed to make it a little bit more comfortable for people that like to do palm muting, and that works out pretty good for me because I enjoy doing that kind of thing. But I specifically bought this bridge because it has the compensated brass saddles that are quite a bit more bulky, and it allows me to intonate the guitar a lot easier. So I really liked that aspect of this bridge, and that's why I ended up spending a little bit more money to get something quality. The bridge itself is nice and thick metal as well. And it's important to also have a bridge that's flat, otherwise you will get some microphonics happening. I also put in, I tend to do that with my Telecasters. I put in some foam underneath the pickup in the bridge position, and I also braid the wire to remove some hum, and it really makes a big difference when you do that. Other than that, the pots are Burns pots, and I tried a combination of linear and analog pots just to give a little bit of a more variety, and I find the taper on these to be really good. I like them a lot. The switch is also a high quality, basic 3-position switch. The body itself is a Fender body, as I mentioned. I like to go with Fender parts when I can because I know everything is going to fit properly. This one was no surprise. It was immaculate, fit perfectly. The body didn't come with string ferrules. I had to install those myself, but they fit perfectly, as you can see. I put in a leftover neck plate because I had one lying around that I didn't want to have to buy another one for. Other than that, all the switches are Switchcraft, and I used a switch plate that is screwed in because the ones that are the other types tend to come loose all the time, and I didn't really like that. So overall, the guitar to me is a great success. It's kind of like my version of the custom shop because I built it to my specs, my liking, and I think I saved myself quite a bit of money by doing the work myself, and getting it to play correctly is really the key. And if you can spend extra time doing the setup, that's where it makes all the difference. What I like to do is I like to set it up one time just to get it into the ballpark, and then spend a few days playing, tweaking, playing and tweaking some more till it's exactly the way I want it to be. And right now I would say it's about 98% of the way there. There'll still be some minor tweaks maybe on the string height and maybe minor tweaks on the nut. But other than that, it's done. It's ready to go and ready to rock. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to give you the rundown today very quickly. If you guys want to hear me playing this thing, by all means, just comment below. Just say play the thing, and I will definitely do that if I get enough requests for it. It just takes me a little bit more time to set things up to record with microphones and whatnot. But I'm happy to do that for you if you want to hear it. If not, if I don't get that many requests, you're going to hear it anyways. There's another video that I'm going to be making shortly where I'm going to be going through some amplifiers for you guys, so you'll hear it eventually. But that's it, guys. That's the Olympic White Telecaster build. I think it turned out really, really well. And give me your comments. Tell me what you think. And if you guys haven't already subscribed, please do. As usual, I'm always happy to read your comments and respond when I can, all right? So guys, stay tuned and keep rocking.